have kind of a secret method or strategy, if you will, in my print-on-demand business. And this is something that I've hinted at many times before, but I've never really dove into this exact method and shared exactly how this helps me in my business. Now, what I'm talking about is the way that I kind of come up with endless different print-on-demand ideas that are very sub-niched. This method takes very little time and it helps me generate almost endless different results that I can use in my print-on-demand business, so I'm never running out of ideas to make new products. This one tip is really what has helped me be able to continue to niche down and find those types of products that have low competition but high demand, and it's a way that I am able to find products with a lot less competition than some of those more saturated niches, while also capitalizing on demand for some of those really popular ideas. So if you want to find out exactly the method that has really helped me in my own print-on-demand business, make sure you keep watching. Now, I've said it once and I will say it again many times. The key to having success in print-on-demand, especially as a newer, smaller seller, is going to be by niching down. So this is something that a lot of times it's very hard for new sellers to understand, because we see that shirts for teachers or for moms or for certain sports are selling like crazy. So we want to get in on the demand for some of those really huge niches. But if you are just a little guy in a sea of so many different products and you only have a few listings up, chances are your teacher shirt is going to be at the bottom of many pages, while some of these shirts that have been up for years are going to be ranking on those first pages. So the way that you are going to have traction is by sub-niching and finding a smaller slice of the pie for that type of niche. There are many different ways to do this. I utilize a bunch of different research tools to help me find good niches, but one tool that I've come up with and created over the years is my sub-niching guide. So what this does is it's going to help me find some amazing sub-niches, and it's a lot easier than it seems. So one way that I love to sub-niche is by using things like holidays. So coming up, we have Father's Day, we have the 4th of July, Pride is coming up. So all three of those are amazing holidays, but the three of them have so many products posted. So what I always do is I'm going to take a broader category like a holiday or an event or a certain niche, and I am going to find something to cross it with. So if we just take the holiday of 4th of July, I'm going to have several different categories that can be crossed with. Now, the first category is a very broad one, but this is an amazing place to start with, and it is going to be something like professions. So not only do I have for myself an entire list of all of these different holidays, I also have a list of several hundred of the most popular professions. So I am going to take something like 4th of July and then scroll through my list until I find something that I want to work with, for example, electrician. And instead of just going for a general electrician shirt or a general 4th of July shirt, I am going to marry those two ideas, creating something really specific that probably there is not a lot out there for. Almost any profession that there is some demand for a holiday type shirt, so that is an amazing place to start. And you could do the same thing with something like Pride coming up. You could take the concept of creating a fun Pride shirt and then also cross it with something like being a teacher or being a nurse. So you could create a nursing Pride shirt that a nurse would be able to wear and celebrate their profession and pride. Now, there are so many other ways you can take this besides just careers. Some of the other categories that I am always drawing from are things like hobbies. So again, you could take some of those holidays or days or events, something like Father's Day, and then look at the hobbies. So I have a list of things like sewing, crocheting, baking, gardening, swimming, boating, you name it. You take some of the biggest sports or activities or hobbies and cross them with any holiday that is coming up. So you could do Father's Day crossed with something like baking and create a completely new niche for baking fathers. Or you could do something like Halloween and crocheting and marry those together. So even though that seems like a very specific combination, with almost any of these, there are multiple people that both have this hobby, and then almost everyone is celebrating some kind of these holidays. So holidays is something that is very universal, and then we are getting down more specific and niching down by drawing into these different categories. Now, several of the other categories that I love to combine with any kind of holiday are going to be things like types of people or even pets. Those are great ones to draw from. So for types of people, I mean things like mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and then you can even get into those more specific names like Nana, Peepa, Papa, Granny, or even aunt, uncle, cousin, nephew. There are so many types of relations and people, and you can combine all of those with any of the holidays. Another amazing group to draw from is going to be types of pets or types of dogs. There are so many really popular types of dogs, so I have a complete list of all of the most popular types of dogs, and I'm going to combine those with almost any holiday to create so many different types of designs. So if you think about something like the 4th of July, you could do a 4th of July shirt for a Cocker Spaniel owner or a Golden Doodle owner. The possibilities are really endless. And then again, when you think about big categories, you can do things like types of sports. So that kind of goes along with those hobbies, but you can look up the 100 most popular sports, cross that with any holiday that's coming up, and you have so many different designs. And this kind of strategy works as well, not just for holidays, but even crossing between two of those different categories. So one thing that I've recently been doing is taking things like those list of dogs that people have and then crossing them with things like hobbies or interests. So you could say something like, this Labradoodle mama loves her essential oils. I'm a dad who loves boating. There are just so many different possibilities to do this. I think it's a great idea to try to get your foot in the door when it comes to some of these really broad categories and professions. But a lot of times this means you're going to have to sub-niche. So if you don't even know how to do that, this is an amazing place to start. And a lot of times with these type of designs, if you just create kind of the general template, so maybe you create a shirt for Pride that says one proud blank, and then in that you can insert almost any profession, and you have so many different shirts that you only really had to create one design for. So not only does this save me a ton of time when it comes to coming up with concepts, a lot of time it saves me time on designing too, because I can take that one type of design and just insert so many different hobbies or professions. Now, this is relatively simple, but it can be kind of a lot of work to go ahead and set up all those categories that you can then draw from, so you're not having to look them up every single time you want to do something like this. So I am actually working right now on a guide for you guys that is going to lay out some of those major holidays almost every day of the year that you could work on targeting, and then so many of the different types of categories that I draw from, so you can simply pick two things, kind of put them together, and go from there to create so many different really unique designs that might not have ever even been made before. So if you are interested in something like that, make sure you are subscribed to my newsletter below so that you'll be the first to know when that is going to be available to you guys. And let me know if that would be a helpful resource that you'd be interested in. And I really hope this tip helps you guys find more niches that don't have as much competition as some of those really big categories. If you want even more holiday and niche ideas, make sure you watch this video next, and that's gonna be a great place to start. Any of those you can take and cross with something else too for a more one-of-a-kind design. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.